The greatest power you possess is your ability to choose. Join Lowe's Moore as he reveals how you can begin to maximize that power by exploring yourself on the deepest levels and committing to making lasting and positive changes. Get ready to achieve breakthroughs that will lead to accelerated growth and transformation, because you are now tuned in to the BluePrint.
Good evening and welcome back. This is Lowe's Moore and welcome to the BluePrint. Hey, I'm excited about this week, man. I've been looking forward to it all week. Last week's show was just a Anthony, what's up, man? Last week's show was just awesome, man. I mean, in the midst of this pandemic, in the midst of the social injustice, Camille Banksley was just awesome, dealing with some mental health issues. I think she helped all of us. She gave us an eclectic perspective that there's not one way to deal with anxiety and stress and depression, that there are multiple ways of hopefully handling, mental health issues before there's an extreme case where you would need to be provided some medicine. But before the medicine, if it's not an extreme case, before the medicine, there's an eclectic perspective. Not everybody can be treated the same in order to find a solution for whatever you experience in regards to fear, to worry, to depression, to anxiety. So that was a wonderful show, and people are still watching that, man. I looked this morning and people were still checking that out, man, because that's the state of mind that we are in. This past Saturday, I had my first vaccine shot this Saturday, and then 4 weeks later, I'll get my second vaccine shot. So it's just a tough time, and then we're just trying to make it work. As you heard the song when we started the show. That's my lead-in song. It said, "We don't live by laws, we live by faith." And so where there is much law, there's little love, and where there is much love, there is little law. Right. And so we want to function by love, and then we want to be able to master whatever those laws may be. But we don't want those laws to rule us. So I'm excited about this week, and I got this is my miniature basketball, but it is my pebble. And each week I drop this in the pond. I'm really expecting a ripple effect, as I did all the other shows. There's a ripple effect of the show, the BluePrint. Hopefully you've been blessed by the guests that have been on the show each week, and encouraged and motivated, and hopefully it has lifted a number of individuals' spirits. And so I want to kind of get rolling right now, and I want to look at the book of the week. I'm excited about the book of the week, and it's called The Invisible Man by Ralph Ellison. Awesome book. Since this is the last day, not for me, but some people would say this is the last day in regards to Black History Month. And really the reality of Black history is that it is every single day. It does not end. But for the month of February, The Invisible Man, I don't know, you might want to grab this book and take a look at it in regards to, the culture, or the Black man being supposedly invisible. I mean, he may be present, but not respected. And Ralph does a wonderful job with this story. Make sure you get a copy of it, man. I always say, I'm giving you these books. Hopefully they'll help you spiritually. Hopefully they help you mentally, and hopefully they'll be a blessing to you physically. And I always say, somebody asked me a question: why does millionaires have libraries and people in poverty don't? One of the things, they maybe can't afford books, but the reality of it is, I always remember in my family, my mom and dad always provided. We had encyclopedias, we had the science, history books. They always provided books for us. They always had a little library for us. And whenever we needed something for school, we would go to the encyclopedias, and we would go to those with Britannicas, and those different subject books. And when you have, this is a way, and my mom and dad figured out this is a way that we needed to make this investment, because it cost a lot of money back then to get those books. And so everybody should have a library. Everybody should have enough books and information that they can create their own library. You should have a library. You should be reading, right? You should be mastering reading. You should fall in love with reading, and you should have your family and make sure your children are doing the same. So The Invisible Man is the book of the week, and this week's word of the week is purpose. I think I may have had a couple of them, but the word of the week is purpose. And I remember Dr. Miles Monroe said in one of his statements in one of his books, because he wrote a number of books that were awesome on the kingdom, on the pursuit of purpose, right? He said that the only thing worse than death is a life without purpose. And also, you see that one says divine purpose. We all have a divine purpose in our life. We have purpose, but yet God has a divine purpose for each and every one of us. And I wrote in my book, in the beginning introduction of my book, is that everybody is born with gifts, and everybody's born with a purpose for those gifts, right? And I mean, we have multiple gifts, but we have a core gift. And I believe that my core gift for me is communication. And that's why I'm doing the podcast, because I like to communicate. So make sure you find your purpose, right? You don't want to go to your grave not knowing what your purpose is. And then there's the Hill and Pierce Harper affirmation of the week. It says, purpose doesn't make life easy. It makes life possible. Purpose doesn't make life easy, but it makes life possible. And that's the affirmation of the week. I'm looking forward to an awesome show this evening. Thank you for tuning in. And remember, the BluePrint is interactive. So if you have a question while we're on, doing the interview, doing the conversation, just pop some questions up and comments. I've seen a few comments already. Thanks, Steve Vaccaro, who came when I was first starting, along with the New York, video group. They've been awesome, during this whole pandemic, during this time, getting the BluePrint up and going. They have been amazing. I thank you guys, man, and everybody working behind the scenes. My man Charlie and Carmine, and boy, man, you guys and Steve have just been awesome. So without further ado, I want to show a highlight, and then we will jump right into this and have an amazing night.
Butch Reynolds runs in lane 4, wearing 1-3-1. On his inside, the 19-year-old precocious talent, Steve Lewis of USA, and Hernandez of Cuba. Tremendous atmosphere building up. Outside Reynolds, Egbenike, the African champion, silver medalist in the World Championship. Then Danny Everett of the United States, second in the US trials, who's run 43.98 this year. And then we've got Valmont of USA and Antonio McKay. There's Antonio McKay and 143. We haven't seen an awful lot of him, but Andrew Valmont, sixth in their trials, but a winner at Monaco and second at Edinburgh. Antonio McKay, the US indoor champion, a winner at Verona, the world indoor champion. That's the lineup in this incredible 400 meters, and they've just seen Derek Redmond blaze away to 44.67, winning the B race. I tell you again, it's Hernandez, Cuba, Steve Lewis, USA, Butch Reynolds, USA, Egbenike of Nigeria, Danny Averett, USA, Valmont of USA, and Antonio McKay of USA. "30,000 hold their breath, and off goes Butch Reynolds, but Egbenike's gone off faster. Egbenike in lane 5 has screamed down the back straight. Hernandez of Cuba in the red shorts is closing, and Reynolds has got a battle on his hands because Egbenike, the silver medalist in the World Championships, the Commonwealth record holder, the African record holder, has gone screaming around the bend. Danny Averett trying to close around the outside, and now comes Butch Reynolds, being pushed by Steve Lewis in blue. Reynolds is up to his shoulder. Reynolds is steamed past him, and Butch Reynolds is coming away. All 6'3" of him. He brings Steve Lewis with him, the 19-year-old, and Danny Averett will be third. And look at that! He's done it! The world record is his at sea level, and he's murdered it. He's taken it apart, and justice has been done at last. The fastest man in the world at altitude or sea level, 43.30, and that obliterates Lee Evans from the record book. That is an astonishing half a second, and Butch Reynolds claims the title he so richly deserves. He wouldn't go to altitude for it. He wanted to take it at sea level, and Butch Reynolds, the clearest favorite for gold in Seoul, has stormed to an astonishing world record of 43.30.
And the world record now confirmed at 43.29, even faster than we thought. Everett.
Awesome. So let me bring to the show this evening Butch Reynolds.
Butch, how you doing?
I'm good, and you?
Hey, thanks for having me today, man. I appreciate it.
Oh, no problem, man. I mean, I know you see that all the time, but they said 19 years old, right? I mean, what was that? I mean, what was that like, man?
Well, not only did I visualize the world record, but Lee Evans was a big part of that piece because he was the first to set that 43.86 seconds. And to me, he was more the GOAT than anybody else when it comes to the 400 meters because for 20 years, so many athletes chased that record. And then for some reason, God chose me to be the one to carry that baton, to take on what the 68 team stood for and did.
Wow. Yeah, no, that's awesome, man. I mean, I watched, it was one of my dreams to make the Olympic team as a basketball player. Right. And I actually went to the Pan Am Games. I tried out for the Pan Am Games. And then I also had an opportunity to, go to the Olympic trials, which I didn't. I chose not to. But it was, it was something I always desired to do, and you were there. I mean, you was at the highest level, man, that you could represent yourself, your family, and your country. That's just awesome, man. So we'll get back into some more Olympic stuff, man. And but we want to talk a little bit about the importance of family. Talk to me a little bit about your family. Mom and dad growing up, siblings. Because we want to know who's Butch Lewis. Who's Butch? I like Butch Lewis, not Butch Lewis, Butch Reynolds. Right. Yeah.
I got you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Butch Lewis was?
It's funny. I met Butch Lewis too. Yes. But I get it all the time. I get Burt Reynolds. I get it all. So at the end of the day, one thing about being an athlete or quote unquote a celebrity at times, if you don't have self-confidence, if you don't know who you are, then that's missing the boat. And I think that I always had self-confidence. And being a world record holder, you always going to be the one people are going after. There's no one that I can look at and say, now, what I'm going to do different? What am I going to do like him or like her or like whoever? I didn't have that because I was a world record holder. So I have almost a decade and a half of just going out there, true decade of being that. But then that mindset kind of carries on over to life. Now, my dad, my parents, I had one brother, one sister. My brother ran the B race. He was in Zurich, Switzerland with me when I set that world record. He was the first one to grab me and told me, "You did it. You did it. You broke the world record." And I didn't know what I did because I was definitely exhausted, tired. I was pain was from my head to my toe. I mean, the 400 meters is one of the worst races in the world. Anybody who run the 400 meters, they can understand when I say the pain of the race. And to endure that, I think it started when I was a kid, really. Not just to endure the pain, but endure the success. My mom and dad both always knew that we can be great athletes, my brother and I. But what they wanted to do to make sure that we can articulate or even understand the world and how the world and 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 what is a black man in this world. So we was a Catholic school. We wasn't Catholic, but my parents' idea was to transition us from the public schools, from kindergarten to 8th grade, and from 9th to 12th, give us the private school per se education, or the private school environment, I should say. And for 2 years, I rebelled. 2 years, I didn't want to be a part of that process. But then when I realized my dad was trying to do my sophomore year, I ended up playing football my senior year. And track and field was always a love-hate type of sport for me because in middle school, I got cut from track and field. So I didn't have much love for track and field after you get cut for something. And I was always good in basketball and I was good in football. I mean, I had Division I scholarships in basketball and Division I scholarships in football. But I ended up going to this junior college in Kansas to run track because that where I thought that I hold my own destiny, and with uh, going to that junior college versus going to a team sport at the time. And you live and you learn, but I'm glad I made the decision. I mean, I'm a world record holder, gold medalist, 3-time Olympian. And, once again, the family, the support that I've received from them, able me to achieve these type of goals and dreams. My mom, my dad, both had a lot of commitment when it came to, their kids. And as I got older, you seem to appreciate those commitments a lot more.
Yeah, and did your mom or dad, did either of them run or play sports?
I was a
Can
heck of an
you?
athlete. My mom really didn't do much in athletics. Back in those times, ladies didn't compete too much, so she didn't do much, but she was definitely a caregiver. She worked for the Summit County Children's Home Services where she fostered, 10, 12 kids. She kind of took care of them in the center there. And we was a part of that process. So we was always a part of giving back, a part of helping others and moving ahead. That's why even though I had a lot of success in running, I always wanted to give back. And when the false accusation happened, it made it even harder to give back. But I continued to give back. It was something in me that I didn't want to, change my mindset and say it was all about money, because it never was. It was about success, and whatever success, that's what it is. And money was motivating, but it wasn't the end of all for me. And I'm glad because I was still, when I wasn't a world record holder, I was still Butch Reynolds. When I became the world record holder, I still became Butch Reynolds, but more experience in life, more experience in certain things. And when I wasn't a world record holder anymore and facing the false accusation, I'm glad that I was still Butch Reynolds. That was the hardest, because if I played a different role, if I was a different type of actor going through that time, I would never been able to survive the false accusation. it would have killed me, because I would have been more concerned again about what people thought about me, and in turn that would have kind of crushed my own self-esteem, because that's what happens. But in turn, I didn't never really care what people thought about Butch Reynolds. I didn't want to think I was a drug user, or I have no values or morals and ethics. That's why I had to fight this false accusation all the way to the Supreme Court of the United States. That's why I was able to win $27.3 million, because of that piece. But to this day, I still never collected a penny of that $27 million. But I would say I did collect a beautiful wife and 2 kids. Now that's my family. I adopted 2 kids, and I married this in my second marriage, this beautiful girl, this beautiful lady. So that was my accepting the adversity of being falsely accused, of losing 27 million after going to the Supreme Court. I had to really accept that. And it's hard to accept something that you didn't do. And we get a lot of whoopings because, we ain't gonna accept something that we didn't do. But when I say I had to accept it, not to accept that the accusation, because I fought that all the way to the highest courts in the land. But what I had to accept was the acceptance to move on, so that God can come in and finish it up and keep me strong, and keep a smile on my face, and keep me, drug free, keep me out of the jails, and keep me what people do when they hurting. When you hurting, it's a sense of loss. It's a sense of I don't know what to do next when you're hurting. And if you don't find something that's bigger than you or stronger than you to kind of help you through that process, it's become a long, long race. And I was able to, stay with the faith, stay with my Heavenly Father, and it got me through it. And it's still getting me through it. I'm still telling this story after 30 years. I've seen a lot happen, but I don't, no one likes injustice. So that's where I'm at now. But lovely family. It wasn't for my family today.
Yeah. So, talk to me a little bit about, we were having a conversation about the importance of your wife and her impact in your life.
Man, you know what? How many people out there can really say that it's easy? I ain't gonna say easy to give up 27 million, to give up, what you worked and you dedicated and you sacrificed and you committed so much of your time to, was to be the best in the world. And when that was taken from me, of course, you was lost. I was lost for a minute. I was like, man, this world is not fair. This world is not right. But like I said, after 10 years of fighting, trying to get my money, I realized that I look back, I'm used to achieving. I'm used to, not just having a dream, but having a goal with that dream. And I didn't have no dreams. I didn't have no goals. I was bitter, angry, trying to get back, trying to reestablish, all those type of adjectives. And, meeting my wife and her 2 kids, Janiyah was 1 and my son was 10. And I'm gonna tell you, I put all my effort into them, into my foundation, and I'm so glad I did, because when you are giving back, you're not making no money. When you're working through your foundation, you're not making any money. So it was strong that way, because I believe in the positive education. I believe in, the best of education. And sometimes, unfortunately, the world we live in, you have to pay to get a better education at elementary, middle school, and high school time. So I did that with my kids. And I'm glad to say, my son graduated from Ohio Dominican, and my daughter is going to law school at Ohio State. And my wife graduated from Ohio State University as well. So I look back and I have many, many thousands of kids in athletics and in college, because they went through my program, or we trained them, or we did something. I touched kids, and that's what's the I guess my strength, and what I tend to do better than running is change people's lives, give them hope. And if I can do that at a magnitude of a world record, I will be remiss if I don't do my Heavenly Father's work, help him do his work, I should say, through his vessel, being a vessel, and touch people's lives.
Right. Awesome. Yeah. And talk to me about a little bit more about the whole thing of fatherhood, man, because that's what, the things that we talk about on the BluePrint, the importance and power of family. And for me, man, it's just a powerful thing to uh, to be able to uh, raise a family, be a husband, um, be a father. That's important. And talk to me a little bit about that importance of being a father.
You know, people used to ask me like, Butch, what did it mean to you when you won the gold medal? How did you feel? And I try to explain to them what I felt. But when I had kids, when I became a father and I was raising my kids, I realized then that every time you check them in and every time you look at them, and you realize that that feeling, and that feeling is like a gold medal feeling. That feeling inside that you feel like something is special, something is right, something is good. When you look at them, it's peaceful. It's the protection. It's all of that, and I felt that every time. Um, and and that's what need to win you know uh, 8 world championship medals and 2 Olympic medals. That dedication, that commitment, the sacrifice again was definitely a something that uh, I cherish, and something that being a father, and it makes me feel that every day, and I cherish that moment. I cherish those feelings. So yeah, I would never. I'm glad that I did this because, my first wife and I, we lost, a couple of kids, and we lost one that lived for about 5 hours, and then he passed away. And after that time, I really didn't want any. And I told my parents before all that, I wanted 5, 10 kids. I want a household full of kids. But after that, I was like, maybe it's not for me to have kids. And then when I'm glad I met, Stephanie and her 2 kids, because I knew I was meant to have it. And I knew I was meant to do what I was doing. But pain sometimes make you run from certain things in life. And I'm glad that I was able to not run from that successfully.
Yeah. And I think the other thing is that I think is important too is from family and parents and then becoming a parent yourself, becoming a husband, a father, is how important is faith in that. And I heard you mention something about faith earlier. How important was faith in the midst of all the things that you've been sharing in regards to family, and because of the speculations, all those things that you went through. How important was faith in that?
Lowe's, faith was everything. Faith was the most important piece. I mean, that was, we said we put God first, we put faith first, but, sometimes we put our jobs first. Sometimes we put our family first. It all depends on that piece, but we always want to remember that through everything, He's first. And my parents, we went to Bible class 2 and 3 times a week when I was in elementary and middle school. We didn't stop that process really until we got to high school. And I was non-denominational. So we learned a lot about the Bible. We understood about faith. But even then, it wasn't really, adversity would teach you 2 things. This is what Archie Griffin told me a while ago. Archie Griffin was a 2 times Heisman Trophy winner for The Ohio State University. And he said, but adversity would teach you one about yourself. And I'm like, yes, I'm familiar with that now for sure. And he said, and 2, it would teach you a lot about others. And don't be surprised when you learn about others. And that helped me because, faith is, people judge you. We are a very judging society, and we judge with information that we don't know. People don't know. I never had a hearing with this false accusation. They just accused me, and that was it. They never had the proof that I did this, and that's why I was able to go to the Supreme Court and win. But they gave me a 3-year suspension, and I had to serve that 3-year suspension on top of that. And as soon as I got back on that track at that 3rd year, I set another world record, and I beat everybody but Michael Johnson. And I was ready to retire at that time because I had 27 million. I didn't want nothing to do with it, but I ended up running for another 8 years after that.
Yeah. And Butch, I don't know if you're covering your mic, or I don't know if you have any earphones. You have earphones?
Yeah. So well, can you hear me now pretty good?
I can hear you now pretty good. Yeah, and if
Okay.
the bottom of your phone is down, it'll cover up the mic.
Okay. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Should I repeat that again?
Yeah, you can.
I was just saying that faith is something that you know, that you learn through trial and error. I mean, I learned more about faith through going through adversity than I did, sitting in Bible class or breaking a world record. I learned more about faith going through adversity. That's when I was really the trying times, and I'm glad I was able to turn to my Heavenly Father going through adversity the most. But now I know that through good and bad, He's with you. But when you're going through something, you definitely seek Him even more. And I really didn't have to seek Him as much as I had to really just understand that He's in control and put all faith in Him, because He can't fail. Man can fail you, but God can't fail you.
Yeah. And so, you know, talk to me a little bit about, like, I mean, how did this start, man? I mean, in terms of, being this track, star or athlete. I mean, you mentioned earlier about, I think you said basketball and football, and you were good at that, but track, did you know? I mean, how was your high school experience in regards to track? And I think you end up going to Ohio State.
I ended up going to Ohio State. Yes, like I said before, track was tough because I got cut in middle school. So when I got to high school, wasn't running. I did the long jump and the high jump because I was able to work off 30 hours of my scholarship at my private school. So I did that
Hmm.
for them. But I didn't start running until like my junior year and sophomore, junior year in high school. And like I said, it was just I was undefeated. It was something that I was really gifted at, but I didn't care for it. I was a football, basketball athlete, and that's what it was. But when it came down to it, I went to this junior college, and this is the best move I ever made because the coach there made me a sign. He said, "Harry Butch Reynolds, 43.85 seconds." He said, "Man, you can break this world record. All you have to do is train, stay consistent, and be focused." And he said, when you run, you can't always come from behind to win. You got to be on top sometimes. So I took
Mm.
that philosophy he made that sign for me and I put it up. And for 4 years, I looked at that sign. And you believe me, in 4 years, some days you don't see that world record. The days you do see that world record. So yeah, um, fun, but it was exciting looking back. Would I do it again? With For sure, no question.
Right. Was there anybody, particularly in track and field, that you looked up to, you aspired to be in the area of track and field?
Yeah, the awesome questions. One person that I kind of looked up to, really. Well, I say two. The first one that really that made me go to The Ohio State University was Jesse Owens. To me, Jesse Owens the best track and field in the world. To me, to this day, you think about track and field, you might think of Usain Bolt, but still, Jesse Owens is right there. And my goal was just kind of, go into his honor and go to Ohio State. I mean, I had Michigan, I had Florida State, Texas, Alabama. I mean, true track schools. Ohio State
Hmm.
was not a track school. I went there because I wanted to make a difference. I wanted to bring a track school to this great football alliance. I wanted to bring a track legend, a track identity, and I had Jesse Owens. So if I do anything half of what Jesse Owens did, I can bring something to the Ohio State University when it comes to track and to the world. And I did. You know, if it wasn't for this false accusation, some of those goals would have definitely been achieved. But it's still not too late. It's still not too late. Track and field at Dillhousie University is doing good, but it's not like the Texas. It's not like the Florida States. It's not like the University of Arkansas. It's still not those particular universities. And I would love to see that one day. Yes.
Yeah, definitely. And you said there was a second person besides Jesse Owens. We know Jesse Owens in the Ohio State, but he was the man. So you said there was a second person that you looked up to?
Yeah. The second person was the great Edwin Moses.
Oh,
Edwin
yeah.
I met Edwin Moses in 1987 at the Jesse Owens Classic, and I just set a world record there. And he was like, you know, you ran a good race, stay in school, finish school. I said, yeah, I'm gonna do that, but I still want to know what's my next move. And so he went to Europe, and then I couldn't get a hold to him. So I called his mother, and I said, you know, Mrs. Moses, this is Butch Reynolds, and I'm trying to get a hold to Edwin. He said, yeah, baby, I know you. He said, you stay right there. I'm going to have him call you. And within 20 minutes, he called me, right? And he said, you know, I have a race for you in Europe if you want to go. He said, it's $10,000, Butch. And I'm like, whoa. I was only like a junior, senior in college. And I was like, man, yes. I knew if I went, I wouldn't be able to have my scholarship. And I knew that. So I told my coach, if I go and I accept it, you know, I'm not going to take my scholarship. And sure enough, I went. And that whole year, that whole track and field season, I was with Edwin Moses. And I'm going to tell you, that guy was the best. He was the best teacher. I mean, his focus, the way he pursued track and field, it put my whole training, my whole mindset to a whole nother level when it comes to focus or dedication or the sacrifice. And once again, he was undefeated when I was with Edwin, and he was on 120 victories. So, you know, it's just, and when he did lose that one race, because he hit a hurdle, but when he lost that one race, it was like, you know, me and Edwin, we spent like another 2 or 3 days in Paris, just hanging out. He was just so relaxed, so cool. So no, I have a lot of respect for, to me, the GOAT, Edwin Moses, because he was able to put track and field to another level.
Yeah, I mean, you know, my wife and I, man, we've been married, 37 or going 38 years. And I mean, since we've been together, oh, thanks, man. Since we've been together, I mean, man, when we were dating, man, the Olympics was on. And we watched every Olympics, you know, since then. And actually track and field is the highlight, you know, for us. We love watching track and field because she ran track in high school, you know, and she was good at track. She ended up getting a basketball scholarship to Fairfield University. But we love track. And I actually, when you broke the world record and when you were in the Olympics, we watched you. That's when my man Tony said, "Hey, man, I think you know, Butch may be interested in coming on the podcast." I was like, Butch Reynolds. Oh man, he's the guy. You know, I got real excited, man, because you know, you guys are like heroes, man. When you look at the Americans that ran track in the Olympics, you know, and I'm a fan. I'm at home and I'm watching America and I'm watching America's athletes. And I'm like, man, when he mentioned Butch Reynolds, I was like, wow, man, just talking to you on the phone, man, I just like, wow, man, this Butch Reynolds is on the phone, you know, like amazing, you know, and I just say, you know, you're awesome, man. I mean, it was amazing to watch you run, man. Just the things that you have accomplished have been totally amazing and mind blowing, you know. And I do appreciate you. And my wife is down. That's my wife right there. She said, I ran when it was the 440, and not
That's
100 meters. She said, but I love track. You know, yeah. She could run, man.
Tell her I do. Yeah, tell her I ran the 440 as well. You're right. See, that's telling our age a little bit there. Some kids don't know what used to be the 440.
Yeah. I knew it would tell the age, boy. Oh man, I tell you one. I was playing.
Yes, we do. With that,
I was playing professional basketball. My first year with the San Diego Clippers, and we the team was in San Diego before they moved to. They were in Buffalo, moved to San Diego, and then They moved to LA Clippers. But I was in San Diego, and I had just arrived there, and I got picked up by them, and I was walking in the hotel going to get my room. And when I walked in, it was a bunch of guys standing out in the lobby, and I happened to run in I noticed him right away. Was it Houston McTeer?
Yeah, McNear. Yep.
Houston McNear, yes. and
yes,
and Carl Lewis. I walked, got my key and turned around, and there was Carl Lewis, right? And I was like mind blowing, man. I was like, dang, I watch these guys on TV, and so I was talking to Carl, and he gave me an autograph, and he said, well, what are you here for? I said, I play with the San Diego Clippers. He's like, I ought to be getting your autograph like that. I said, nah, I think I'd rather take your autograph. And actually bought tickets. It was the indoor track and field. It was on television, but that night I bought tickets to go there. And I'm telling you, man, that was an awesome experience. And Carl was doing the long jump, and this guy was like jumping out the sandbox. Mm-hmm. I said, I don't think y'all made the sandbox long enough for this guy, man, because he was just jumping out the sandbox. and we love track, because when I was, I played basketball, but in gym class, in gym class, you got to run track. You got to do the shuttle run. You got to do the 40. You got to do the 100. And I was a basketball player, and we used to compete against the track team, doing the 40s and 100s and stuff like that. And man, I was close to them guys, man, and they would train to do track, and I was trained to do basketball, but I wasn't a track guy, but I mean, I tried out. They wanted me to do the long jump, and they wanted me to run and stuff like that. But, I had gotten so good at basketball, man. The All-Star games and all these other things kind of took precedence. So you have to choose. You have to make a choice, like you did. You made a choice between football and basketball. You said, I'm gonna run track, and I made a choice to stay in basketball, which was good for me, And one of my good friends, he's gonna be a pop-on guest to ask you some questions and have a conversation with you a little bit later on in the show. He's a track guy, and you're gonna love him. He's amazing. But
brother always joked me. He said, "Man,
okay. Go ahead."
I'm here.
Yeah, go ahead. You go ahead and say what you were saying. You just we're having a little audio trouble.
No.
Okay.
And it's probably my phone here, because I couldn't get it on my computer. But I apologize, audience, for that. But it wouldn't let me roll with my computer. But no, I think that when I got in the track and field world, I didn't know anybody. I knew more football players and more basketball players. So when I got in the track and field world, it wasn't like I had a fraternity at the time. And track and field is hard to have a fraternity. I'm used to football, basketball. We have some true brothers, some true fraternities. Track and field, we didn't have a close knit like football and basketball fraternities. We have some athletes, but I don't know what it was. Maybe it was just the egos or whatever it was. It was challenging at that time for me to really get into that like camaraderie or that football family. Because when I coached at Ohio State football, I was the first ever speed coach for a Division I program. And believe me, when I say that, you know, I never cried at a track meet per se when I won or I achieved something. But the first time I beat Michigan, Ohio State beat Michigan, you know, it brought tears to my eyes because it was a team. It was a real team. You know, my team, you know, my brother, my trainer, maybe another training partner, you know, my acupuncture, my chiropractor, that was my team. You know, my team was more physicians and people I was paying more than than actual, you know, running with me or something like that. So it was a little different. When I got to Ohio State, it was, man, it was 105, and the coaching staff and the trainers, we're all trying to be the national champion. We all had one goal, and that was to be the best national champion. And it was good. It was a different feeling. I would love, you know, I love that. I love the competition. I love feeling the, you know, competing. So, you know, but 3 years was it because I was limited. I'm an open guy per se. I want to touch as many kids as I can. I want to do my foundation. I want to do my speed academy. I love seeing kids go to college on full rides, and they said, "Can you teach speed?" And I said, "Yes. I'm the master. I'm the speedologist in teaching speed. I can teach anybody to run. I can teach anybody to go. If you go on 4.5, I can get you to go 4.3. If you stay with me long enough, that's what I do."
Yeah, and I mean that's an awesome, you know, awesome experience. I think one of the things, if you've been an athlete before, right, and your career is over, there's something missing in your life, right, when you can do something really well and not want to give it back. I see a basketball player or something like that, and I always think about, the mental aspect of the game. How can when I was a young guy, individuals help me with the mental side, because there's the physical side of the game, right? There's the mental side of the
Right.
game, which most of us don't. We just work on the physical, right? We don't find the balance between what is physical and what is mental, and we never really add what is spiritual into it, which is purpose, right? That goes along with the gift, and so it's important, to give back. I mean, if you were able to accomplish something, or somebody was able to give you something, and you don't turn around and want to give it back, because somebody gave it to me, somebody gave it to you, like Edwin Moses taking time out to say, "Hey, man, let me kind of show you the ropes." It would be very selfish not to want to give something back after you accomplish something.
No, I agree. I think that it was in my DNA to give back, though, I think, because like I said, my mom was a caregiver at the Summit County Children's Services. So she worked with boys from like 10 to 17. So we was always a part of the process. So we giving back was nothing. It's just, I want to get back at a bigger fashion. And that's why, I took the stage in the Olympic Games. And it's still my mission now. My goal is to conquer, is to touch every kid in the state of Ohio. And to move that program on out. I did the program. I know the program works. Now I'm just trying to get it out there and let the kids see it and let the teachers see it. The teachers need more help than the kids, to be honest with you, sometimes, because these inner city teachers they don't understand a black kid, a black male. They just don't understand us, and I see it, and it's no fault to theirs. I think the school system has to teach them, give them a little bit more of work in that area, because it can be taught. Like if I can teach, speed, you can teach a person how to, and all it is understand a person's background. If you understand a person's background, it's not like your background, that you might be able to understand, his good days and his bad days. And when his
Mm.
bad days, don't look at the bad days as though it's the end of the world. Look at the bad days that, man, he might not ate, or he might not have, 8 2 days. Barely no. And school systems, and I can see it. In 2018, I was full time in there, so I could just see what the need was, and it is a need. It is a need to teach.
Yeah. Yeah. So so let's transition. Maybe around 8 o'clock, we will pop on a guest. But talk to me a little bit about your foundation and what the mission of it is.
Yeah, the Butch Reynolds Care for Kids Foundation mission is to help help kids or help people uh, improve their habits, increase better habits, get rid of old habits. I found out that we tend to hold things forever, even these kids. I mean, you have to have a routine. So we teach them a routine through the Go Middle Mind program. We teach them how to have a better habit with their routine. I think that that's how you teach. That's how you learn through repetition. I hate to give a program and it just for that period while I'm there. No, I need you. It's a 30-day program. If they say that you're gonna help an alcoholic, which is the biggest disease of them all, to get over, and it says 30 days for that. And I use the same process almost to kind of help these kids in the 30 days improve their self-esteem, improve who they are. No matter where you're from, no matter what your parents are doing or not doing, you have to still remain and know your goal. And you can dream, but you got to put a goal. And I give them, I help them. Somebody help me with my goal. Okay, I didn't pick my goal to be the fastest man in the world. I didn't wake up saying I want to be the fastest man in the world. I woke up saying I want to be like Dr. J. I woke up saying I want to be like a running back. That's what I woke up saying. But the coach came to me and he gave me that goal. So I teach a kid. I said, give me your goal at elementary. Let me know. Let me hear what you want to do, and then I give them a process to achieve that goal. I just don't let a dream stay a dream. I give them every step to go to that. And it starts right now in third grade, fourth grade, fifth grade. And also, my program is the Gold Middle Mind. It's all about the mind. And for corporations, for older people, we go through things. And it's a shame to be stuck with that adversity. It's a shame to be stuck with that pain or whatever you went through. If you live long enough, you're going to have adversity. And a lot of us don't get over the adversity. We carry it on over. We carried it on over. And until you get over it and accept it to move on, then it's going to be a challenge for you in life. And that's what I try to teach the kids. That's the part of my program.
Oh, nice. That's awesome, man. Yeah, definitely without a doubt, man. Those you just gave. Back in the day, my grandfather used to say, "Man, well, come over here for a second. I'm gonna give you a nugget." I'm like, "What? You gonna give me a nugget?" Right? And then today is dropping dimes. Let me drop a dime. You just dropped the dime about the importance of what the blueprint is all about. Is the importance of setting a goal, right? And a blueprint is a goal and vision, right? In order to build a house, you got to have a blueprint, right? Somebody's got to write it down and say, I want to put the kitchen here, I want the bedroom there, I want this over there, and you design a blueprint, right? Well, a goal is a blueprint. I mean, I'm writing it down. Here's my goal, and then the question becomes, okay, where do I need to put these things at, right? What's my next step, right? And that's what you're talking about, man. And I looks like no better person to do it than you. I got a question for you, real quick. It says, how did your discipline as a track athlete help you with life's lessons?
It was everything. I mean, I was a little kid like everybody. I wanted to play and just keep playing. I didn't take I didn't take academics or training serious until I became an Olympian. I mean, until I was on my way to becoming an Olympian. And I I blew myself away with the dedication, with the commitment, with the sacrifice, training 3 times a day, eating right, getting to sleep, sustaining from things, and just, living what people might call a boring life. But that's what it takes to be the best. I wasn't around a lot of people. When they talk about quarantine, it was like I was quarantining myself before they started quarantine like this. Back in '93, I really quarantined myself then because I was on a mission to come back after that false accusation and just take on the world. And I was able to take the bitterness, the anger out that year. So when I came to the 5 grievances, I was able to get rid of that then without doing damage to myself and putting a hole, digging a bigger hole than I was already in because of the false accusation. And what I did not know is that no matter what I do, people still gonna believe the negativity, and that hurt too. When I had to accept that, I thought that, hey, you go to the Supreme Court of the United States and you win 27 million, and your federation said that you didn't do it. Okay, that's enough. But people's mind, they want to still believe the negativity. And I'm fine with it. They can believe whatever they want to believe. I had to remember that everybody's not going to love Butch Reynolds, but a lot of people are going to respect and love Butch Reynolds because that's what I give back. I give back nothing but love. I don't hate the IAAF from ruining my life or breaking my mom's heart before she passed away. I don't hate nobody. That's the love in me. So if I can make that transition, that, I'm not a cheater. I have great ethics, great values, and great morals. So I feel very confident in who I am today, yesterday, but going through that process, it was challenging. And I think that's where I grew from. I grew the most from that.
Well, yeah, I think that we will all fool ourselves, particularly African-American men, right? That there's not going to be accusations, right? When I was a sophomore at West Virginia University, and we did play Ohio State University. I graduated in 1980, right, from West Virginia University, and but our coaches left. Well, they didn't leave; they got they got fired. About after my sophomore year, after making it to the conference championship 2 years in a row, and then I go into my junior year. We get a new coach, right, and I made some statements in the paper. They weren't really negative statements, but the new coach took them personal, right, and then they tried to get rid of me. They tried everything that in their power to to make me look bad. And but there was no history in far as I was concerned from my high school to college of me showing anything but character and integrity and the love for the school that I had selected. Right. But because we received a new coach and he didn't recruit me, even though I loved being at West Virginia, right? And he chose to be the coach at West Virginia, which means I'm his player, right? But he didn't recruit me, so he figured, all you gotta do is make one mistake and you're gone. So I understand accusations and I understand people putting words into your mouth and all those kinds of things, man. Those are just some of the things and obstacles ultimately to our greatness, and although it impacted your career, right? But I always say those things made me a better man, made me better prepared for life, because those are the things that we go through, man. Unfortunately,
No, you're absolutely right.
Yeah,
you're absolutely right. That it made me a man.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't deserve it. We deserved to fulfill whatever our dreams were. We deserved to fulfill those things, we didn't need to go through those things, you know.
Well, it's
But
funny you said that, because I think now I'm fulfilling my Heavenly Father's true goals. My goal was to be the best in the world, and I achieved that. And I think now I'm doing His thing now, for sure. And I think that's what's giving me um, great energy. That's what's giving me great focus now. That's giving me the blueprint per se now,
yes,
because it's different. It's different from me. You know, I'm here for a lot of people, not just kids. People, we all need to have a sense of encouragement at times. We all need to have a sense of motivation at times. And I'm hoping I can be that person to kind of, through my experiences and not letting them get the best of me, you know, realizing what you were just saying, that, you know, it made me a better person. And yes, it did. I didn't know I can love again. You know, loving is great. I mean, loving is awesome. I was hurt. I love to run. I put everything I had into being the best in the world. I loved that. And when that was challenged and taken from me, it hurt. And, you know, it crushed the love. So to move forward from that, it was challenging, because that was my name. And when your grandfather tell you, Butch, clear my name, you know, and he was deaf. You know, my grandfather was deaf. I don't know how he knew when I was talking to the family, but he just blurted out, clear my name. And at that time, you know, I wasn't scared to die. Dying was not an issue to me. Clearing that name so that my people can have a clear name was more important to me than anything else.
wow.
So it became really deep. Yeah.
Yeah. I want to bring on a good friend of mine, Walter Kirkland. You know, we both from Mount Vernon, New York, and I was a basketball star in my senior year, and he was the track star in his senior year. And I like to bring my good Walt on.
All right. Hey, what's up, y'all? Can you hear me?
Okay.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Hey, what's up, Lowe's? Appreciate you, brother.
What's up, Walt? Appreciate you. And now we got Butch and Walt, and Walt's the track guy, so you guys gonna have a little conversation here. Walt, and that's Butch, and that's Walt.
Butch,
That's
man,
cool.
big up to you, brother. Big ups to you, man. You a beast. You hear me? You straight up beast.
Thank you. No,
Hey, Butch, the best I could run, Butch, was 46 flat, man. I couldn't break 46 flat, so you a beast, dog.
Hey, I think 46 is not impressive. You still feel that pain. I tell you that.
Yeah, and Lowe's, I appreciate this, brother. I wanted to be on your show, so I'm glad to be on the BluePrint. This is a hot show, and thank you for what you do, brother.
Well, we're gonna get you on here by yourself, but right now I knew Butch was on here, and I know you love track, and you still running.
Yes.
You still running. I ain't gonna tell your age. You still running.
So Butch, I'm a senior Olympian. I'm still running, bro. Believe it or not, at 63. Believe it or not.
Okay.
And Butch, it's hard, man. I ain't run in 30 years, man. I went out and tried to run last year. Hey, Butch, man, I ended up hurting my groin. I made it to the finals, right? And that muscle memory, I was training like I was in my 20s. I was doing repeat 150s, repeat 200. And I don't know how old you are. How old are you, Butch?
Right.
How old are you?
I'm 56.
All right, yeah. So I'm 63.
You're a young man. You're a young man.
You're a young man. So your body, I don't know if you've been running in the last 10 years, but it's not the same. It's almost like when Michael Jordan joined, and I know Lowe's are like this. When Michael Jordan came to the Wizards, his coordination was off. He was trying to slam dunk. He was missing dunks and he was missing shots. You think you can do it mentally, but physically the body's saying, nah, you can't run them. Butch, I'm sure you did time 200s probably back in the day. You probably did repeats. You probably do them in 23 point, 24 point with like a jog in between. You try doing that now, man, it ain't going to happen. So I found myself playing catch up, Butch. And what I'm doing now is getting the base in and just jogging, stretching, and getting the body used to it. This old body used to running again.
Let me give you a little I tried for the Masters at 50, and I was
Okay.
training really good. I was doing good. Body memory, the mind, I was understanding. But I'm gonna give you a little hint. Is that
Please.
we don't have to do the same workouts that we did before. You know, we don't have to do the same workouts we did before. If you're doing the same workouts you did before, you're doing too much.
Right.
And I didn't know that until, of course, I got hurt. I pulled my Achilles tendon, and I realized then that I didn't have to do all of that kind of work. All I had to do was just, you do a little bit. You swim more. You ride the bike. You do things. You might get on the track once a week, if that. Okay.
Yup.
And that's the secret.
Yup.
Because
That's
you got
the
to go with
secret.
body memory. You got to go. Our body is too old for that. I can't train that way no more.
Good point. Good point, bro. I appreciate that, man. So the next senior Olympian, Butch, is going to be in Fort Lauderdale in 2022 with COVID. So looking forward to getting back in the mix there, man. But yeah, man. So what are you doing now, Butch? What are you doing? Are you doing philanthropic stuff? You doing stuff in the community? What are you doing now?
I'm doing a lot of stuff in the community. I am a Speed Academy, so I'm actually teaching a lot of, high school, college, NFL, NBA, baseball. I'm teaching them the fundamentals of running. I'm teaching them how to move their feet, how to get a little bit more explosive with their movement. This is what I'm teaching them now.
Nice. Good for you, bro. Yeah, I'm the assistant coach at Bowie State. It's the third oldest historical Black college in the country. So I'm assistant track coach over there. So our season got kind of postponed because of COVID. But yeah, I'm doing that too, and I'm the chaplain over there. So trying to uplift the youth, and also the founding president of the 100 Black Men, which I'm sure you heard of that, Butch. It's the largest mentoring organization in the country. So we mentor Black youth from ages 8 to 18 in financial literacy, health and wellness, and education.
Oh, I'm familiar. Yeah, I'm familiar with you guys. Yes.
Yeah, you are. What part of the country?
Good work. That's good work.
Thank you, brother. What part of the country are you in?
I'm in Ohio. I'm in Columbus, Ohio.
Oh, okay.
Columbus,
okay.
Ohio.
I'm in the nation's capital. You enjoy this. I was talking to one of your partners last week, Edwin Moses. You know Edwin Moses?
Yeah, we were just talking about him. Yeah,
yes.
he was shooting with them.
Yeah, Edwin Moses is a good cat. They're having a documentary coming out on him pretty soon. And good cat. He's in Atlanta. And then I was talking to Tommy Smith. Tommy Smith finally got in the Wheaties box. Butch, you got to get in the Wheaties box pretty soon, Butch.
Yeah, you know what? I agree. I'm not going to disagree with you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Because Butch, you had the world record. Go ahead.
It's all in modern.
Okay, go ahead, Butch. Yeah, go ahead. So Butch, what was your best 400 meters? 43 flat?
It's all in moderation.
Right. What was your best 400?
43.29.
That's crazy, man. Hey, Lowe's, that's the same. So Butch, when you came to your 200, what'd you come to your 200 in?
I came through in like 21 1.
21 1.
22 21 2. 21.
Lowe's, that's ridiculous. That's staying power. And I got to ask Butch this. So Butch, what was the hardest? Because in the 400, you got like 4 parts of it. You got the first, you got the second, the third, and the last. What was the hardest one? Is that the last? For me, it was the last 100 meters. What about you?
No, the hardest for me was coming off the 200. That little 50 yards, that 50 meters between when you come off the 200, when you're going into
off the
that.
Turn? Right off the turn?
When you come off that first 200, the last 100 piece, I trained for the last 100 meters. That's how we train. I trained myself to run, 11 for that last 100 meters. I might run 3 600s. And come back and run 4 those 100 meters under 11. So
that's crazy.
That's what we try to do, though. Yes, to make sure we get that last 100, because that way I know I can give you I can get the best in the world 5, 10, 5 to 7 meters there, and I can catch you. I can catch everybody but Michael Johnson. I can catch him. Everybody else I was able to catch, but I couldn't catch Michael. You know.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah.
That was my strongest part. When everybody's tired, I'm getting stronger.
Yes. Interesting. You just taught me something when I'm coaching and myself. So you saying your last 400 is your strongest. Wow, that was the weakest for me. Okay. Good stuff, man.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
and Walter was in high school. They had a great, particularly relay team. They had the record for a while in high school in the pin relays.
Yep.
And Denzel's brother was on there. Billy White Shoes.
Yes.
And Walt and it was one other person.
Valjean Garrett.
Valjean Garrett. Woo, Valjean, man. Woo.
Yes. And Butch, we all played football, but football was secondary. You know, I was a second string quarterback. I was the Michael Vick. I could run the 40 and 4.4, right? But I couldn't throw the ball. There was some good times.
Like a lot of us.
Yeah, right. And then Denzel Washington, the actor, his brother ran the third leg. I ran the anchor, the actor Denzel. And then one of my top races, Butch, was I anchored the pin relays. You heard of the pin relays, Butch? You there? I think.
You know him right there too.
What's that?
What'd you say, Butch?
Say that again.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I said no. Pin relay was a nice place.
Yeah, pin relays for this part of the country. I remember I got the baton and the pin relays, and I'm dating myself against Caliber High School, Butch. Caliber High School in Jamaica. And I got the baton 20 meters behind. Yes, sir. And then I actually walked him down and ran 46.3 in high school, and it changed my life, Butch. I got 15 scholarship offers.
That's a good story.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Where did you end up going to college? Where did you end up going?
I went to, can you see my ring, Butch?
No, what? Let me see it. I can't see it.
Rutgers University?
Yeah.
Rutgers. Okay. Yes. I got you now. Yes, I can see it now. Good.
Yeah, I got a scholarship. Track? Yeah, ran track. I won a national championship. I was not as good as you, Butch, but I did win a national championship 1 year, was All-American, and I ran for the Athletic Attic with Marty LaQuarrie. You ever heard of him, Marty LaQuarrie?
I ran with Athletic Attic. What you talking about? Yes. I know.
Yeah, I ran with them for 2 years, and I did a little travel, and that was it. I wasn't at your caliber, but a lot of the this skill set has set me for life. So I use a lot of track and training for what I do now. So much respect to you, brother.
Yeah, Walt, I thank you, man. We may have to do this again. Butch, we
very much.
He was experiencing some problems with getting on his laptop and computer, and kind of threw the whole system off, and he had to get on his phone. So we experienced some difficulties. We had to get Butch back again, man, and get him all straightened out, man.
Yep.
Also, Walt has his own show out.
I know. I'm sorry, folks.
In DC.
Yeah, Butch, if you can hear me, I have a show in DC I'd like to get you on. It's called Kirkland's Corner. I had Edwin Moses on there and Tommy Smith. So I would love to get you on there to showcase what you're doing and to share, especially with the collegiates and the college kids. Morehouse and Bowie State would love to hear from you about, your story and your journey. So maybe that could happen.
I would love to do it. Let me know.
Good.
Let me know. I'd love to do it.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do this again, man. Get your audio together, and with StreamYard is a little bit different than Zoom. Yeah, because StreamYard you have to have Chrome, Google Chrome.
Oh,
it works best with Google Chrome, and he was trying to download it, and
Oh wow.
but we will get it together, and we may do it again because this is always fun, and because I'm sure somebody missed some nuggets.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes. Because Butch, you're an American legend, brother. What you did with the Olympic gold is something that is amazing. So we got to make sure we give you all your love that you deserve, brother.
That's right.
Well, hey, thank you guys. I appreciate it. Seriously, thank you.
Yeah. So Walt, thank you, man. I'll talk to Butch to finish out, and I'll connect you two guys, and and you guys can talk and hook something up.
Sounds great. And Lowe's, keep up the good work on the BluePrint. Appreciate you, brother. Go ahead, Butch. I'm sorry.
No, thank you very much, Walt. You take care.
All right, brother. Be safe out there. Take care.
Okay, you too.
All right. That was my good friend Walter Kirkland. Boy, he was a man in high school. Yeah, we won the back in the day we had you had what they call the Con Edison Award, right? And in the Con Edison Award, you had to be a good student. You can't receive that award unless you were a good student and a good athlete. And myself and Walter were Con Edison Award winners back in the day, along with Val Jean Garrett and Tony Crawford, and he was a wrestler and football player. Yeah, it was. My friend had some awesome athletes today, back in the day and today. Yeah. So, but I got a question for you. Right, I got a quick question for you. I've had it down here.
Yes.
Yeah, I got a quick question. Like, who most impacted you outside of a family member? We know your family members come along and encourage you and stuff like that, but who outside your family member had the most impact in your life?
I would have to say my coaches. My coaches really had I really had 3 coaches that I would give a lot of credit to, keeping me on the right path, giving me the mindset, giving me the physical attributes. And, it's John Francis out of Kansas, Frank Zubovich out of Ohio State, and Brooks Johnson. Brooks Johnson was more of my my mental coach. He was more the focus. He was more. He taught me more about life and what to expect. And because I thought everybody loved Butch Reynolds. You wouldn't tell me, why would you not care for Butch Reynolds? And Brooks Johnson was the one who kind of broke it down to me and said, everybody's not gonna love you. 50% of people ain't gonna love you. People gonna be jealous of you, envy, the whole bit. I said I didn't realize that, but he broke it down to me. So I had to give those 3 people, and a lot of courage. Some spiritual advisors, of course, in the process.
Yeah. Those mentors and tutors are always important to keep us encouraged. And if I'm sure some young person is listening, some parent is listening out there somewhere on the show. I mean, what would you say? I mean, say something to them that you think that could impact them based on your experience, life experience. Say something to impact young people today, to encourage them, to motivate them, or give them some constructive criticism or structure.
I would say this: stay focused on your goals. Create a goal. Take responsibility for staying focused on that goal. Parents, let your kids compete. Let them go through some trying time. Let's see how well they handle, the trying times of coaches. There's some young coaches that don't understand how to motivate. They're more important. They're more focused on winning. Winning is very important. I'll be the first to tell you. But if you got to play the role of where you're at, if you at a middle school, elementary school, teach more. Make sure they get the lesson of winning, the lesson of losing, the lesson of dedication, the lesson of teamwork. You know, you go to Ohio State, Alabama, you know, those coaches up there, they can teach, they teaching these kids. I was surprised. I was on the staff of Coach Tressel, and he taught these kids how to be young men. And that's the whole ideal. Coaches, teach how to be young men before you win. You know, it's good to win with young men, you know, so, and young ladies, excuse me, and young ladies as well. So that's what I see is just don't overly push the kids because you want to work through them. Now, just let them get their experience. Some might not want to play or compete, but they have to learn how to compete. They have to learn how to play no matter what. So I would say that just have a goal, sit down, and make a blueprint for that goal. You know, and then you keep that mindset. That's what I would say.
Yeah, and you know, where do you see? I know, like a lot of us. I mean, when I think about the blueprint, and I was thinking about something you spoke about earlier, which is your foundation, right? And you also talked about your academy. Um, in your future, you know, you're still young. We're all still young, right? Where do you see? Um, where do you see that foundation going? Where do you see yourself in that foundation going? And then also, where do you see your academies? How where do you see that growing and getting and extending in the future?
You know, I say this. It's like running 43.29, a world record. And then I can have the best of Jim Brown telling me that, you know, Butch, you know, I got high respect for you. I said, oh, no, I wasn't going to accept it. He said, no, hear me out. He said, you were the world record holder for 10 years. He said, you're the best. He said, when you look at me, people might say Gail Sayers or Tony Dorsett or Walter Payton. And, you know, he said, there's no questions about you. You know, there's always going to be debate here. And I think, man, that's a good point. But no, I'm still not going to accept this. My dad talked about you every day. So, and I told Jim Brown that as well. So, no, what? You know, I just think that, you know, just sharing and growing. And like you said, Edwin Moses, Jim Brown. I mean, I met a lot of people, a lot of kings and queens, you know. But one person I never met, but had a profound effect on me, but I never met him, was Nelson Mandela. Okay, I mean, I was taken, you know, and robbed of a lot, but this man was in jail for 27 years, and he never lost faith. And when he came out of that, he came out after 2 years and was president of his country. I mean, that's a strong man. You know, it's not about black or white. That's a strong man. To be a black man to do is even more unheard of. So yes, I think that's, you know, that's the challenge of never giving up and just don't quit. I mean, and that's, you never know when you're gonna be able to touch as many people's lives as he touched coming out of 27 years in jail.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you see yourself in the future? You know, maybe writing your story, doing a book, documentary, film.
Yeah, I have a book that will be coming out in June. I have a documentary be coming out next year, and I have a patent that I made that will be coming out in 3 more months.
Oh,
So
great!
I've been busy, and I got another book that I wrote about the goal of mind, about doing the right thing, about staying focused and in your own success, you know, and letting things go, accepting things at the same time. So no, I've been busy. I'm this here is just the beginning of hopefully many podcasts and many friends like you that I can meet on that way of because you asked me a question. You know, I think that running 43.29, and if I go beyond that piece, what does that mean? Going beyond 43.29. I
Right.
think I'm going to go beyond with the foundation work, go beyond with the Speed Academy, because I never lost faith. I always believed in my Heavenly Father, and I think that this is what it's all about. This is what it's going to be right now. So we will path. I think we will, cross again, and we'll be doing each other's podcasts in a minute.
Yeah, and for all those who are in the listening audience, right? You're in the listening audience. I mean, you can go to butchreynolds.com, right, and check out Butch's page over here. I mean, I was impressed when I had the opportunity to see it. Training for sports and life, passion plus work equals success. Training by Butch Reynolds. I mean, Olympic gold medalist, right? Won a couple of gold medals, and man, he held the world record of the 400 meters for 10 years. Man, that's impressive all by itself, man. And yeah, I mean, just look him up, man. Many of you don't know who he is, but the thing is, look him up. But many of you do, and probably were saying, I don't know where Butch went. Sometimes people just disappear, But this is the Butch Reynolds, Olympic gold medalist and world record holder. And I was just excited to have you on the show. As I said before, when Tony had you on the call, man, and I was just thrilled to just have a conversation with you. And man, unfortunately, well, it was a great show. People have been putting up comments throughout the night. We had some trouble with the audio, but we got through it, and I think people got a lot of nuggets tonight, man. I mean, you were awesome tonight, man, in what you said, and also you've given people, like I said, my grandfather said nuggets, right? You gave a lot of nuggets, you dropped a lot of dimes tonight, and hopefully people will be able to take advantage of those things, man. We're in our final minute. Any final comments from you, Butch? I'm looking forward to doing this again, man, and staying in contact. Any final comments?
I would just, man, Lowe's, thank you very much. And this is an awesome opportunity to be able to speak about, whatever. And the blueprint is a good terminology, is a good phrase, because that's what it is about. It's about, creating a blueprint and leaving a blueprint. So I think that, I have created, and I'm about to leave something here. And I'm hoping that these kids follow not so much me, but follow what's right. And what's right is some things that I put out there that can encourage them to use these tools to be the best. Use these tools to have their own world record. To use these tools to stay focused and to handle their adversity, whatever it may be. But adversity make people stop growing and make people stop caring, and it definitely turns that heart into a very hard and hardened heart. And we got to keep love. We got to keep love going. Got to keep love pushing. I think that's to sum it up.
Yes, sir. Well, Butch, thank you, man. Appreciate you, man. God bless you, man. We will stay in touch. I'll be in touch with you.
All right.
And for all those who listen tonight, thank you for tuning into the Blueprint with Lowe's Moore. I'm looking forward to, man, it seemed like February just flew by. It was like lightning, and we entering into March, and along with the Blueprint is this lifestyle, 7 spheres of influence, and all the next month we're going to focus on a sphere of influence dealing with religion and relationship, and we're going to invite some pastors on for the next 4 weeks, man, and we're going to talk about faith and love and all those things that Butch just finished mentioning. And next week I have my good friend Paul Sherrill from Maryland on, and from Christ Revealed Embassy, and I'm looking forward to it next week. And then Pastor Pastor Pohl, Greatest Centennial Church, and then Pastor A.R. Bernard will be on at the Christian Cultural Center. And then at the end, my good friend Bishop Darren Moore is going to be on the show. It's going to be exciting. So again, thank you, everyone. God bless you and have a wonderful week.
We really hope you enjoyed this episode of Lowe's More, the BluePrint podcast. Stay connected and follow us at our website, www.lowesmore.com. That's LOWESMOORE.com. You can also join the discussion on Twitter at Lowe's More and on Facebook at Lowe's More Jr. As always, thank you for pushing your mindset towards a better reality. This concludes the most thought-provoking portion of your day. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this podcast to stay fully up to date with everything we're up to. Until next time, be kind to yourself and each other.
What they teaching is a joke. I ain't buying it like I'm broke. Insufficient funds for insignificant.